All right, guys, Billy here with Goodbreeze. We got Matt here as well. We had a great little sunset session on all the kites you see behind us here the other night. We were taking out these new Slingshot kites. We wanted to kind of do a comparison and just try to ride them back to back, similar conditions, similar gear, and just see kind of what we liked. So today, or I guess the other day, we tested the Code V2, the Code NXT, the new Fuse, and the Machine. We're going to kind of discuss how we each felt about how they performed and what we liked or disliked about each one. So I guess I'll start with you, Matt. Which kite did you start on, and what did you think of it?
Yeah, so I started off riding the Fuse for a little bit. That kite felt very similar to the RPX to me. I was on that for a little bit and kind of light wind, so I didn't really get a great feel for it. That was the first kite that I was on. And then I was on the Machine. What did you think about the Fuse?
I personally really like the Fuse. That was my second time riding the Fuse. I rode the Fuse in South Africa in some real wind, and Slingshot markets it as a surf kite, but I think it's a lot more than that. I think, like you said, it felt a lot like the RPX, and having ridden the RPM a lot over the years, I really like that like quick, maneuverable feel. And then I was surprised at how well it jumped for a quote surf kite. It's got a really nice like pop off the water. I mean, even on like if you're doing unhooked pops or just kind of load and pop tricks, I think it felt really good for that. And I think it's gonna be really good in the surf with a surfboard. I didn't ride it with a surfboard, but I did some in Africa. I did some riding in the waves with the twin tip on it, and it's real maneuverable. But even the jumps, like you get a real good strong pop off the water. It's not a big floaty jump like the Machine or the Code where you're kind of just lofty, but you get, I think, some really good height. So that was kind of my feelings for it, and honestly I clicked really well with it.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I guess we switched, and then I went to the Machine, which I had also ridden a little bit in South Africa, and nice, stable, real kind of solid feel in the sky. I'd say really good floaty jumps. I think that's going to be kind of the best kite for the average free ride, just normal person. That's kind of beginner, intermediate rider. Personally, it was a little on the slower side maneuverability. I think especially coming from the Fuse, because the Fuse is so maneuverable and quick. So I felt it was a little on the slow side, but like I'm more of just either like a big pop and kind of float or a wave style person. I think you're a little more wake style, spin and flip. So what did you think of it?
Yeah, so I was on the Machine. I thought it was a great kite. My background is a lot of wake style and freestyle kind of riding, and it really seemed to me like they optimized the Machine for kind of call it the old school freestyle, free ride kind of rider who's really chasing that float time and that lift. And they put a lot of energy into it, and I think they put a lot of performance characteristics in it for float and lift. It's got like a 12-point bridle system, fiberglass battens. It's got this new DLE material on the back, the trailing edge, and it's got a pretty round, robust, big diameter leading edge, which creates a great characteristics and combination for a really good jumping kite that you get a lot of hang time with. So if you're someone that's chasing that hang time and not necessarily kind of has that goal in mind of doing mega loops and big air loops, the Machine is definitely the kite for you. It's a great kite for someone who's chasing that big air, the big air float time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that again, that's that stability, float, hang time. That's kind of where the Machine is.
Yeah.
And then I guess the Code is kind of like almost a hybrid of the two. It felt a little bit faster to me and more responsive than the Machine, which as a really experienced kiter, like having kited a long time, I like that instant feeling. I'm not really like, I don't spend a lot of time on a twin tip, so I'm so used to riding like more of a style surfy kite that it really felt familiar there. But then when I got on the Code, at least I got on the Code NXT, the wind really kind of turned on, and I was able to get some big boosts with it, and just big floaty boosts, and like it had the float, but then it still had the speed and maneuverability. A lot of times you kind of have a trade-off where you have either a real high aspect kite that floats real well, but it doesn't really whip around as well. I still found I was able to do some nice big down loops on my landings with the Code, particularly the NXT, and it just felt like kind of a good all around for like I think a more advanced free ride or freestyle rider, I guess is what I would think.
Yeah, that's kind of, I think, their point of what they're aiming for between the machine um,
In the code.
and the code. Yeah, and back to the machine, I was flying that kite in kind of gusty conditions, and that like we have here in Florida a lot. And the machine was just super stable. You know, it wasn't luffing, and it was just holding its shape the whole time. I was really impressed of how stable and secure and strong that kite was. Great Florida kite, because we here in Florida can end up with some kind of turbulent, gusty winds, and that thing was awesome. Performed really well. Um, and then, to me, I think what they're trying to go for is, you know, the machine versus the code. Was the machine is like the big air, old school kind of freestyle kite that you're, you know, optimizing your float and your lift, and then the code is for that person who's kind of chasing the new school, kind of boosting big with those double mega loops and throwing in a trick in there because it turns really quickly. I was impressed at how quickly it turns. I was riding it kind of on a lighter wind side. It was definitely on the lower side of the wind range for that kite, so I wasn't able to boost very high, but I can see how that'd be a great kite for boosting and mega looping with. And then also, you know, if you're a rider who's chasing that mega loop but also likes to go surf or foil kite, I think that kite would be great for those disciplines as well because it turns so quickly.
Sure, yeah, I think I would have a great time with the code in the surf. A machine I probably wouldn't want on a surfboard.
Yeah.
It just would have been a little sluggish and kind of just probably wouldn't backstall and drift with you as what you wanted. So yeah, I think that's kind of, I guess, if you're looking for that all around, a little bit of everything, you know, but you still want some super high end performance, the Code V2 I think would be perfect for that, or even the Fuse. Whereas if you're like, I'm a twin tip rider, I like to just boost and get hang time, I want something stable that's going to just kind of do, you know, what I expect it to do all the time, then I think the machine's kind of more in that range. That sound about what you would think for people?
Yeah. What'd you think about the Code NXT?
I mean, I'm a sucker for the Alula material.
Yeah.
It's crazy pricey, but it really does make a difference. If you can do it, it's going to be worth it. You feel the stiffness in the kite, and I think we even under inflated it when we were riding because we had an electric pump and we had set it to like the same PSI and just kind of pumped them all up. I got it, and I was like, oh, I could feel it twisting, but like when you get it solid, it's the leading edge is able to get more narrow, and man, it's such a lighter kite. I think you do get like just that much more performance out of the Alula material. Not to mention, I think it's just kind of stiffer and going to last a little bit longer overall. They've gotten it down pretty good. So I mean, it's a big price jump, but if you could do it, it's probably worth it. I think so. I've been saying that on kites. I've been saying that because the stiffness is important. I say that on bigger wing stuff as well.
Yeah.
One thing we haven't touched on, which you don't talk about much anymore here days, is relaunch. So I drift launched all of these kites, and you know the wind were shadowed, basically not getting any clean wind. So it took me a little while to get them up. The Fuse popped right up. I could see just by the way this thing, I was like, whoa, that thing popped right up. The other two, it took me a little bit. Obviously the conditions weren't great. Did you crash your kites at all? What did you think on relaunch? I mean, I know it's not as important. They all relaunched well enough for sure.
Yeah, I definitely crashed a couple times and had no trouble relaunching the kites. I definitely would say these kites are, and I mainly was on the machine and the Code, definitely say those are beginner to intermediate kites. You know, for someone, they can definitely pick those kites up and be able to relaunch them pretty easily.
Yeah, I think I think that's kind of a thing in the past is like worrying about relaunching kites unless you were looking at something that was 5 lines or dedicated sea kite or whatever. So yeah, I mean, overall, I think the Fuse is probably the best relaunching out of the bunch, but they all relaunch well enough.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to getting on the water again with these kites and riding the Codes, the Code NXT and the Code V2 in the surf. Everything's going to be an awesome surf kite. Yeah, I think Slingshot did a really great job with the way they look as well. Super cool graphics, really technical looking, really bold, and they perform really great. So please come check them out.
Yeah, and if you haven't heard, Goodbreeze is the official Slingshot demo center for the East Coast. So we have all these for you to come try with bars, with boards. We have wing gear, we have foil gear. So come check it out. We have it on our website. You can reserve it. You can take it home for 48 hours. Try it out. Let us know what you think. And if you like it, we'd be happy to help you get one. And don't forget to like and subscribe at our channel below if you want to see more kite content like this. Thanks, guys.